Welcome, everybody. I'm Jamie Coe, joined by Andrew Flash Gordon. What's going on, Flash?
Not much, although I guess I think I'm Batman right now, but yeah.
No, that works. So we're looking at Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the new trailer that just dropped for the Super Bowl. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, pretty please. Vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Here we go.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm Star-Lord. I formed the Guardians.
He's bulked out.
Met a girl, fell in love. That girl died, but then she came back. Came back a total dick.
Oh, please. He left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.
Yeah. It's gonna low-key have a 50 First Dates kind of vibe.
My sacred mission
as he helps her to know everything.
is to create the perfect society.
Oh, Rocket.
He didn't want to make things perfect. He just hated things the way they are.
Wow.
I want you all to know that I'm grateful to fight beside my friends.
Incinerate them.
Whoa!
We were always searching for a family until we found each other.
Woo! Oh, nice. Very nice.
Are you ready for one last ride?
Wow.
We'll all fly away together into the forever and beautiful sky.
Whoever it was that you were in love with, it sounds more like her.
Her? That's ridiculous.
Do not bring me into this. Knock it out!
Never noticed how black your eyes were.
They were replaced by my father as a method of torture.
He picked a pretty set.
What else are you gonna do? You keep striking out and striking out and striking out.
Right.
Opportunity presents itself. You're like, why not? Why not? You never know. It could work out. It'd be weird. Who do you think is gonna die? Who's on that operating table?
I definitely think Drax for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Because
He doesn't want to come back.
Not only that, just because, I mean, we remember from his backstory, we know that his wife and child were killed. I just think that's the proper way to pay it off with, rejoining his wife and child after what had happened. I mean, his mission's been completed. Thanos is already, dead, so, snapped. So seeing him be killed off would be, in my opinion, appropriate, but I guess probably Rocket could be a candidate. I mean, they're all obviously candidates, but those are the two I'm thinking.
Well, Rocket has a reuniting moment. I wish they saved that for the movie instead of showing it here in the trailer, but I guess it's an emotional hook of some kind that he's reuniting with someone that is like legitimately probably part of his family. And so that doesn't, it seemed like it would be really, really sad to have him have that moment and just, take him out. I wouldn't want that. It's a very colorful movie, to say the least. There's a lot of vibrance going on. I really like it. The effects look fantastic.
Yeah.
The thing with his face is crazy looking.
It reminds me a lot of Peter Weller in RoboCop, where his face is skinned on with like how Rob Bottin had it when he takes off the mask. It reminds me a lot of Peter Weller in RoboCop with the evolutionary.
I mean, that's probably a more accurate reference for this kind of look. For me, it gives me the vibe of something like Borderlands, the video game, because I feel like I saw stuff like that in Borderlands. Now, we know him from Peacemaker. He is the head cop who's also, I'll just say he's the head cop in the team. We got everybody back together here. Our first look at Warlock.
Adam Warlock, yeah.
And so it was looking pretty badass. That was as much as we really got of him in this.
Yeah, there was a little more after that, but
right here? Is that him? No?
No, I think where he's fighting with Drax, I think, later on in the trailer.
Isn't that Warlock?
That is him.
Warlock.
That is him,
yeah. And then he's going to pop right out.
Yeah,
right?
and I believe later on he's going to be fighting Drax. Oh,
I really like this moment right here. This is dope with the guns and all. I mean, it's a very classic sort of John Woo kind of thing. The most famous version of that we ever saw was Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But seeing it, amped up with Groot with all the guns at the same time.
Yeah,
that's pretty nuts.
Just making a prediction here that I'm most likely going to need a lot of Kleenex when I see this film because it looks like it's going to be a hard. I mean, obviously they're going. It's a James Gunn film and it's a Guardians of the Galaxy film. There's going to be a lot of comedy, but also
emotional.
It's going to be extremely emotional. If anything, the first 5 minutes of the first Guardians film and also the last 5 to 10 minutes of the Volume 2 is anything to take an example from. James Gunn knows how to make a damn good emotional film, and I think he's going to pull out all the stops when it comes to this one. And I really love that they're focusing a lot too. Obviously, we know a lot's going on here, but I like that they're focusing on Rocket Raccoon's backstory because we have gotten a lot of the other characters fleshed out when it comes to their backstory. So I think it's really appropriate and interesting that they're going to focus a lot in this film on Rocket Raccoon and just seeing like what we got, the little snippets, like because obviously we got a little dialogue that was told in the first film, and just what we're seeing here, just like where he's being like tattooed on and all that stuff, like me personally being a Jew, like I can relate to that kind of stuff, and obviously
I don't know why I'm laughing about it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good, but just like
it's just the last thing I expected.
I just meant like the imagery and just from what I know, obviously, but I just like. That really makes me empathetic and sympathetic to the character, and I appreciate where they're going with this, and looking forward to seeing his backstory revealed here in this because that's one of the most interesting things to me in this trailer is Rocket Raccoon's backstory.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for giggling at that. I was like,
you can just tell them you don't like.
I'm not giggling at the subject matter at all. It was just like it was just unexpected. That's why I giggled. I was like, wait, what?
That's why he has me around. I just say so many unexpected things.
I really appreciate this moment right here. I don't know how they pulled it off. If it was actually Chris Pratt, but this dolly back with the movement as he's turning and then whipping out the gun again, very John Woo-esque. It looks so nice, and then right towards the camera, like. It would have been even cooler if somehow it was at the corner of the frame, but it's because it's dead center right now. But still, the motion and the landing of it's just so beautiful. Yeah. Like, I'm surprised. I wonder. I really wonder if that was actually Chris Pratt because it looks so good. It's just such a beautiful moment.
I wouldn't be shocked. That guy's in pretty dang good shape. It wouldn't surprise me if he does most of his own stunts.
And you're right. Adam Warlock is fighting him here.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. That was cool. That's quite
and that was good. And one other thing I wanted to point out that I thought you made an interesting reference to with the whole 51st dates with Gamora and with Star-Lord. I think that is actually kind of an interesting aspect of it. Obviously, she's not going to keep forgetting, but just in terms of rekindling that memory of what she had with her and with Star-Lord and Nebula, I think that's going to make an interesting dynamic because that's one of my favorite parts of the first film is watching Gamora and Star-Lord fall in love. Like I have such an emotional attachment to those two, and again, just watching them grow fond of each other from where they started at the beginning of that film to where they ended up, and they have such amazing chemistry, those two actors.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking forward to them rekindling that relationship of theirs after obviously the devastating effects that happened in Infinity War. So I'm looking forward to. There's just so many different things that I'm looking forward to here, and it looks amazing for me.
Do you think that Star-Lord would end up with Gamora's sister?
I mean,
to me, it just comes off as a joke, but you just never know where things could go.
Obviously, I don't see that happening, but with Star-Lord, you never know. I mean, that guy's always doing some, interesting things.
I do like the aspect of having to find his way into rekindling that love, like you mentioned. Like he has to sort of walk through the beginning dates again. He has to woo her all over again from scratch, and that just gives us an interesting starting place for that relationship again.
And also, too, on top of that, look how much he's grown as a character since that first film, since they started that relationship. Yeah, well, I'm just making a point. Like, he met his father, he fell in love, and then lost his love, and then I just think it's just interesting where this character is at this point. Having to re-woo her again versus where he was when they started their relationship in the first film. I think it's going to make for interesting, dynamic and interesting character flesh up in terms of their relationship.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed this reaction with us. Do subscribe, bell icon, all notifications, vote this up. I'm Jabby Koei. This is
Andrew Flash Gordon.
Peace out.